Most travelers visit London thinking they can just show up and figure everything out when they arrive. And for a lot of cities, that actually works. But London is one of those places where the things you fail to book in advance quietly drain your money, waste your time, and sometimes lock you out of experiences entirely. There's one particular booking mistake that costs first-time visitors hundreds of pounds without them even realizing it, and I'll get to that a little later. Let's start with the thing almost everyone gets wrong first, and that's how you actually pay to get around the city. A lot of people assume they need to buy an Oyster card the moment they land, but here's what changed. London's transport system now works seamlessly with contactless payment. That means your regular debit or credit card, or even the payment app on your phone, can tap in and out of the underground, buses, and most trains. The system automatically caps your daily spending, so you never pay more than the equivalent of a day pass, no matter how many trips you take. The only reason to still get an Oyster card is if your bank charges high foreign transaction fees. And that leads directly to something worth sorting out before you even leave home, which is staying connected. Because here's the reality. The moment you land at Heathrow or Gatwick, you'll want maps, transport times, and restaurant bookings, and roaming charges from your home network can be brutal. This is where a travel eSIM makes life dramatically easier. You install it before you fly, and the moment you land, you already have data without hunting for airport Wi-Fi or swapping physical SIM cards. If you want the eSIM I personally recommend for the UK, I've left a link in the description that takes about 2 minutes to set up. Sorting this out in advance means you step off the plane already connected, which brings us straight to the airport itself, because how you get from the airport into central London is where a lot of budgets take an early hit. Most visitors default to a taxi, and depending on traffic, that can cost a small fortune and take well over an hour. But London gives you faster and cheaper options if you book ahead. From Heathrow, the Elizabeth line quietly became one of the best decisions you can make. It's affordable, comfortable, and drops you right in the center. From Gatwick, the Gatwick Express gets you to Victoria in around 30 minutes, and buying that ticket online in advance is noticeably cheaper than at the machine. If you're arriving late at night or traveling with a group and heavy luggage, a pre-booked private transfer can actually work out reasonable when you split it. The point is simple. Decide your airport transport before you fly, not while you're standing exhausted in the arrivals hall. Now, even if you get all of that right, there's something else that catches people off guard, and this is the booking mistake I mentioned at the start. London's most famous attractions are increasingly moving to timed entry tickets. Places like the Tower of London, Westminster Abbey, St. Paul's Cathedral, and especially the Churchill War Rooms regularly sell out days ahead during busy periods. Travelers who assume they can walk up and buy a ticket often find the only available slot is late in the afternoon or nothing at all, and the London Eye is the classic trap. People line up for over an hour when a pre-booked fast-track ticket would have saved that entire chunk of their day. If any of these are on your list, book the timed slots before you arrive, and I've included the ticket links I trust in the description so you're not gambling with sold-out days. And this is where the experience really starts to change, because once your major attractions are locked in, you can build your days around them instead of wasting mornings queuing. That naturally raises the question of whether a city attraction pass is worth it. The honest answer is, it depends on how you travel. If you're the type who wants to see 4 or 5 paid landmarks in a few days, a pass like the London Pass can genuinely save money and let you skip some lines. But if you prefer a slower trip with lots of free museums, it's often not worth it, because London hides an incredible secret. Many of its best museums are completely free. The British Museum, the Natural History Museum, The Tate Modern and the National Gallery cost nothing to enter. So before buying any pass, count how many paid attractions you'll actually visit. That single calculation decides whether it's a smart buy or wasted money. And if you're planning more trips like this in the future, consider subscribing. Every week, I share practical travel guides, honest advice, and the kind of mistakes travelers usually discover far too late when it's already cost them time or money. Now, let's talk about something people wildly underestimate, and that's how far in advance you need to book West End theater. London's theater scene is one of the real reasons to visit, but the popular shows sell out weeks ahead, and the good seats go first. Booking early not only guarantees you a seat, it usually gets you a better one for less. There's also a smarter move most tourists never hear about. Same-day discount ticket booths in Leicester Square offer genuine deals, but only if you're flexible and lucky. My honest advice is to book the one show you truly want in advance and stay flexible for a second night. That way, you're never left disappointed outside a sold-out theater. But there's another reason planning ahead matters, and it has to do with where you eat. London's most talked about restaurants and its trendy afternoon tea experiences often require reservations days or even weeks out. Nobody wants to spend their evening wandering hungry while every good place turns them away. You don't need to plan every single meal, but pick 2 or 3 experiences that matter to you, whether that's a proper afternoon tea or a specific restaurant, and lock those in before you fly. Leave the rest open for spontaneous discoveries in neighborhoods like Borough Market or Soho. And once you understand that rhythm of booking the essentials while leaving room to wander, one more decision becomes clear, and that's day trips. London is a perfect base for exploring beyond the city, but the best options need advance booking. If you want to see Stonehenge, a guided tour that also includes Bath or Windsor is far more efficient than trying to piece it together yourself. Oxford and the Cotswolds make a beautiful, slower day out. And if history is your thing, Windsor Castle is close enough for a half day. These tours sell out in peak season, so if a day trip is important to you, secure it early, and you'll find the options I recommend linked below. Now, one last thing that too many people skip until it's too late, and that's travel insurance. It sounds boring right up until a delayed flight, a lost bag, or a medical issue turns your trip upside down. Sorting a policy before you leave costs very little and removes an enormous amount of stress. It's the kind of booking you hope you never use, but you'll be grateful it's there. So here's what it all comes down to. London rewards the traveler who books the few things that genuinely matter: your airport transport, your timed entry attractions, one theater show, a couple of key meals, and any day trips, while staying free to explore everything else. Get those locked in before you fly, and you'll skip the queues, protect your budget, and spend your days actually enjoying the city instead of scrambling. And if you're still shaping your trip, watch the next video on screen where I'll show you exactly where to stay in London based on the kind of experience you're after, so you don't book the wrong neighborhood.